sure he did.
chilly compared to earlier this afternoon.
No, man, I was at the beach. I was still sweating like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
My friend sent me a screenshot of his car when he got in Providence. It was 108.
Yeah. I think I've got all insurance stuff here.
Oh, you need a, you need
By the way, I saw the piece in Hazard School.
Yeah.
don't drink it all in one go.
It's kind of hard to see from the road if you weren't looking at it, but yeah, it does. I agree. It should be filled in.
This is just complicated, you know, it's just it's a process.
Yeah. Do you know if that actually fills up quite a bit?
I don't think it does.
Hi,
Hey,
Carol. Hi, Sharon.
No, I don't think so.
So how many years have you been married, man? Today's your anniversary, right?
That's a long question. I'm celebrating my 36th anniversary.
Water is mandatory after 2 years.
That's like Sarah does, they're happily married
And there's
for
more
5
where
years.
this came from.
But together it says 2
There you go.
Five
Last
of them
5
are
years,
happy.
there's some fits and starts and spurts.
Can't say.
Oh, sorry.
Go too far away.
Too far?
Okay. Set. Sharon, all squared away? Okay. All right, so it's 5:09. I'll call the meeting to order. And we'll do a roll call. Kenny Burke here.
Rusty Noda.
Bill Borkman.
Kate Sullivan. Carol Feather. Sharon Henderson.
Terry Murphy.
Chloe Lampier.
Mark Phillips.
All right. We're all here for the purposes of this meeting. We're going to have a subsequent discussion on quorums, but we'll say we've got a quorum. And now we're going to discussion item number 2, procedures, establishment of a minimum number of members for a quorum. We talked about this at the last meeting, and I did reach out to Terry. Terry did some legwork and suggested we have an official agenda item to talk about a minimum number of committee members available at a meeting to establish a quorum. And I know that the past meeting, we had discussion. Initially, we said about 5, and then we settled on 4 as a minimum number to have a quorum. And that motion was passed, but we're now going to reboot that discussion with advice from the town. And Terry, did you want to kind of give a quick overview? It was just,
Sure.
yeah.
I reached out to the town clerk's office for some guidance, and Nicole actually reached out to the town solicitor to get clarification on it, and he did get back to her with basically the information that, I'll just read it, it's easier. When a public body has, quote, not at any time adopted any rules of procedure, and that there are no statutory or ordinance or charter regulations spelling out the same, the default procedure for the body is, quote, governed by generally accepted rules of parliamentary procedure. This includes well-established common law principle that a majority constitutes a quorum. But this default common law rule can be altered either by a governing statute, ordinance, or charter provision, or if there's no such provision, by the body adopting its own rules of procedure that differ from the default common law rule. Accordingly, since there is no statute, charter provision, or ordinance governing what constitutes a quorum, the 250th Committee would first need to meet with a majority of its membership present to vote on rules of procedure. Once they have a quorum under this default rule, they can adopt a rule procedure through majority vote of those present, setting a quorum at some number less than a majority of the membership for all future meetings. So that's from the solicitor's office, basically saying this group, providing there's a quorum of the original appointees, can adopt another number if that's the wishes of the,
Okay, and just trying to refresh my memory, I mean, Sharon, you might know how many members were officially endorsed. Do you remember what that number is? I don't off the
I
top
think
of
we
my
had
head.
11 officially endorsed and
I
12
have,
in question.
I have 12 here, including Carol, because Carol was appointed at the last council meeting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, excuse me, 13.
Okay, does that include Sean Johnson?
It does not, because he never applied.
Okay. Does that include Tim Platt?
I do not have Tim Platt as having applied
Okay,
for,
yep,
to actually, he came to the first meeting.
yep.
And then there was somebody else who I think also came but never decided,
Yeah, who's that,
Oh, it's
She
Pat?
has to step down.
Beth.
Pat.
Oh, no, Pat,
Oh, Beth
Beth
LeConte.
also,
right. Oh, and so I have her on this as a,
So she's stepped down, she's tendered her resignation through email.
okay.
I can share that with everybody.
and her husband as well. I think they were both
Oh,
on
that's
the
right, they came,
original.
that's right. But I don't know if he also
He
applied?
did not. I
So
did
this
not
is
have an
Beth.
application, so it's Beth. So that would bring it down to 12.
And Pat.
Oh, okay, yes, so that would bring it down to 11.
So it feels like there's some housework, as we had already talked. I can do a report out at the council as far as members that have left. I should do that, I should reconcile. But if we're talking about 11, it feels like we have a quorum today.
7 is a majority of
Okay.
11.
And to start the conversation, if somebody wants to make a motion, then we can get into conversation on what to do next.
I make a motion that 4 people are a quorum, and the head of each committee doesn't necessarily need to be. And the reason I say that is John Drummond is doing cancer treatment, and he's got the speaker series committee.
Okay.
Seconded.
All right, under discussion, I'll suggest we could take that as 2 motions. I'm with you on that. If you want to make it clean, we could just do the one for a minimum quorum. But-
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
I motion that's 4.
Seconded.
Okay, so modified motion, just for a minimum number of sitting committee members, and 4 for a quorum, a minimum number. That's fine.
Can I?
Yeah.
I didn't think that this was gonna be a discussion, so I didn't make enough. So if you all would share these, I beg to differ with the solicitor. Okay. This is from the Rhode Island Open Meetings Act, which we are an open meeting. We are ad hoc meeting. And if you take this and share this information with each other and read it, we do have a set of rules and regulations to go by. Oh, here's another one, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Is there any other comment or?
We can't, according to this document, which is the Open Meetings Act, and all town meetings are ad hoc committees in Rhode Island are members of the Open Committee, and therefore there's a set of rules and regs on there. And so I question what he said, the solicitor, and I believe this is correct, and that's been checked out with another attorney.
Okay, so I have a question on that. So what publication is this from?
It's right off the webpage of the,
Yeah, it has no reference to it. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know who produced this, and it
well,
doesn't have
go-
any sort of
go on the.
reference. I don't know what it
Well, I mean, the
says.
website's not a reference.
And I'm going with the solicitor.
I'm
And if
going
the
with
solicitor's
the-
wrong, if the solicitor's
this-
wrong, then that's the problem with the solicitor. And the solicitor can take a
Okay.
look at this, but I am not,
So
I cannot look at this and determine one way or the other, because I am not a lawyer, if this is the fact or that's the fact. However, I know the solicitor is definitely a lawyer, and he has looked at it, and he has come up with point a decision
You asked
on
me a
this,
question.
and that's,
You asked me a
that's,
question, what is the resource,
I
and you're not
reject
letting
this.
me answer?
I reject it.
And I said that.
I reject it.
I said
Thank
that
you.
you asked me a question. Are you gonna let me answer and be courteous?
Please do.
Okay. I got it off the Secretary of State's website, and it's called the Open Meetings Act. And it's right on their website, and I believe we're in conjunction with the Secretary of State.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't put that on there, but
It
you
doesn't-
should be able to go to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sharon, you mentioned also that another attorney had weighed in. Is that an attorney that was contacted on
No,
behalf of?
just a friend of mine.
So that was,
Before I came, I said, is
So-
this gonna be?
was that person contacted on behalf of the committee?
No, there's been none of that. This is what I found on the website, okay, of the Secretary of State. This is a Rhode Island Act, okay, right here. We are an open meeting. You said, where did I get this, which is my resource? I should have jotted down, but I assumed from a note I sent to Kenny that he would have, people would have gone to that website before we got here.
Okay,
It's in that list.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
asked me to
thank
do
you.
that, Glenn.
so I call this for a vote. Can we just vote? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, thank you, but just anybody else that hasn't spoken, Carol, I don't know if you have any thought?
I understand what she's saying as far as having seven, because the amount of people that show up.
Yep.
However, I understand what he's saying too, because that happens, so we have to take that into consideration. So I think it's gonna have to depend on what we're voting for at that time,
Yeah. Okay,
and then we might have to revisit it.
Okay.
all right.
I call for a vote. Anybody else?
are we
yeah,
voting on
it's-
the motion, or can
The
we
motion.
revise the motion? And
Yeah, so we're still under discussion. Thank you, Bill, for calling for a vote. I'm just gonna ask
Okay,
to pause it for one second, and I'll just ask if there's any other additional information regarding this motion that you want to talk about. I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to talk. And I do want to say a couple things. I mean, Sharon, yeah, I'm very familiar with the Open Meetings Act, public bodies, ad hoc committees, Robert's Rules of Order. And I think the intent, prior to us even getting established, I think we were following the footsteps of the 300th Committee. I think putting a very rigid cloak over our committee could cast aspersions on what we did very successfully a couple of years ago in the 300th. I think the idea was that we were working together collaboratively. I think that's the intent. I don't think anybody is trying to game anybody else. So we just want to make sure that we have open meetings, they're posted meetings, our agendas are posted, minutes are posted, everybody has a chance to talk and be heard. And we have tremendous individual strengths, and we need to draw on each other's strengths. Because not a single one of us is going to be successful doing work autonomously. So my hope is that we can have some flexibility with the guidance from our town solicitor, and being respectful to, and I think compliant with the Secretary of State's guidance. And then we can just keep doing work openly.
So, we're gonna disregard the open,
Nope, nobody said that.
Okay.
Who are the two attorneys that, and I'm sorry, I didn't know you. I called,
no.
you talked to a couple attorneys today?
No, a friend of mine. I asked him to go to the website and say, is that real?
You
Is
said
that-
you talked to some attorneys, I'm just trying to understand.
No, I'm just a personal friend that
Okay.
went to the website and said, that's what's on the Secretary of State's website, that is official.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all, and I don't appreciate the, let's make a motion now, stop it and go, okay? I wanted to, at least it was going so fast, I had to stop what was going on to try to get you guys to look at this, okay? And I think that's fair, I think that's
Sure.
fair, and I think that would be working together more than, no, we're not gonna do this, okay? I'm saying, throw this out, discuss it, maybe come back and discuss it after you've done it more thoroughly. Okay,
We're
and we have a quorum right now according to the terms of what it is. We meet the quorum status. And so therefore,
It's moot, essentially,
Yeah.
because most of us show
no,
up
I'm
to
not
most of the
saying that. I'm
meetings.
saying today is today.
But, no,
I'm talking about in the future, we're
I I say
talking
let's,
about
let's,
excuse me,
sorry.
we're talking about a rule, okay, and a law, okay?
Respectfully, Sharon, we've reached out to the town solicitor, who's an attorney specializing in municipal law within the state of Rhode Island. I think we are comfortable and we're on solid ground to take his legal advice. And I don't think we're trying to rush it through. That was an effort to go out and get guidance from the attorney who's retained to provide that kind of guidance to the state, to the town.
Right. That's all I can do is give you input.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay.
So, Carol, so I heard you mentioned you're kind of seeing various perspectives. I didn't want to, Bill had asked to call for a vote, but I just want to make sure everybody else had a chance to speak. And if there's anything, I don't think the solicitor's trying to direct us to do something that's illegal. I think they've given us some clear direction as a licensed attorney in the state of Rhode Island who specializes in open meetings law. So with that guidance, I feel we've got a motion that's been amended to have a minimum number of sitting members established as for a quorum at 4. I think Bill seconded it and he's asked to call for a vote. So just one more time, does anybody have any other comments or concerns? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 2 opposed? Okay. Fair enough, motion passes, thank you very much.
Could I add another thing here after the fact?
Yep.
Is there any way that someone, I guess Terry, can get clarification from him about this over?
Well, let's do it as, you wanna make a motion? Let's just do it the right way.
I make a motion that we get clarification from our town councilor that the Open Meetings Quorum Act does not apply in this situation to a town ad hoc committee within the definition of a public body. And so therefore, that would, that would seal it for me if you could have that clarification.
Okay, that's the motion.
I didn't understand the
Oh,
motion.
Could you, please restate that, I'm sorry. Could you please restate it, Mark, couldn't hear you.
Coordination or validation with the town councilor that the Open Meetings Act quorum, as stated for an ad hoc committee in Rhode Island for a town, is not valid.
Okay, so I think you meant town solicitor, you said
Yeah,
town
town
council.
solicitor.
Yeah, no worries. Is there a second? Karen seconds. Any discussion?
I think that our town solicitor has already given us guidance on this and told us that we could make it 4 or 5 or whatever number we choose. So I think this is just doing more work to get to the same end, and we've already got to that end. And we've spent almost a half hour of our meeting on rules of order. So I think we need to spend less time on rules of order and more time on the meat of what we're here for.
Okay.
So I think we've already got the answer from the town solicitor, and I don't think we need to go ask him again.
Yep. I would second that position in saying that we've spent so much time talking about it. Are we gonna spend another hour at the next meeting talking about the same issue? When we're just here to talk about 250th and doing something good for the town, having, get some people to have some fun. We're not talking about breaking any rules. We're not looking to go around anything.
We're not making
just-
policy.
And the solicitor has looked at the laws, and I think he's done a great job. And if there is an issue, and we'll modify it, but you know what? I'm good. I'm
Did
good
you
with
mean
what the solicitor has to say.
Or me that does a great job.
Okay,
So, yeah, just actually a question for you, Terry. You read the solicitor's advice to us, so I don't have it in front of me. So did he address specifically the Open Meetings Act? I'm kind of wondering if
No, he-
Sharon's question might have been addressed.
He has said when a public body has, quote, not at any time adopted any rules of procedure, and that there are no statutory or ordinance or charter regulations spelling out the same, the default procedure for the body is governed by accepted rules of parliamentary procedure, and then he quotes Leck versus Stewart, blah, 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 Rhode Island, 1984, so, it was a case in Rhode Island. This includes the default, well-established common law principle that a majority constitutes a quorum. And then he references another case, Fargnoli versus Cianci in 1979. But this default common law rule can be altered either by a governing statute, ordinance, or charter provision, or if there is no such provision, by the body adopting its own rules of procedure that differ from the default common law rule. And he says, since there is no statute, charter provision, or ordinance governing what constitutes a quorum, the 250th committee would first need to meet with a majority of its membership and establish something.
any other comments?
I just want to reiterate what we talked about last meeting where, if for some reason, we don't have a majority here, my concern is, and Mark brought it up today about John having, some health struggles, myself included, and just busy schedules that we could be, hamstringing ourselves unwittingly by, not being able to meet because we don't have enough people if we do 7 or, a number like that. So I think the lower number would be the better for us, considering, routinely we only have, about this amount of people coming. So.
Any other comments?
Yeah, ditto, Russ just said.
Yeah.
Let's get to the job of what we want to do and not worry about, we should just follow the solicitor's recommendation.
Carol, did you have any thoughts? I just want to make sure, again, everybody has a
I
chance.
see both sides.
Yep.
I'm just trying to understand it a little more. You guys are all used to being in this position. I've been on different committees where we had quorums and we had to follow it. So even if the person wasn't there, if there was a reason behind it, that was fine. And it will happen. But usually it isn't.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. That makes total sense. And I'm going back on a couple years ago when we created the 300th. Like I said, if we overlaid this blanket of kind of a rigid, more standardized standing committee, the planning board, the zoning board, the council, people that have fiduciary responsibility that's prescribed in state law or ordinance. I mean, it's black and white. It's very simple, right? But we know that the 300th committee and our committee, we're all volunteers and we're like the workhorses. We got to get stuff done. So I think I appreciate what the solicitor's advice is, because it speaks to how anemic the numbers are in our group. So we've got to find that middle space. We have to be compliant with the law, but we have to recognize that we don't have 30 or 40 people, We've got pretty much us. Okay, so
Just one more thing. Discussions like this are sucking the life out of this committee.
all right, so
Thank you.
we had a motion, we had a second, we had discussion. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Your motion that I have, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Sharon, I just say, Sharon makes motion to ask solicitor to validate the Open Meetings Act and what a quorum is. Is that mostly?
Yeah.
Okay. Carol seconded. All those in favor? Okay. All those opposed? Okay. Motion is defeated. Moving on. But I will say, for good measure, I will follow up on this directly with with Terry and the solicitor. I don't want to kind of constrain our committee to this, as Bill also pointed out. But,
Thank you.
But to your point, Sharon, we need to build on our relationships. I'll get back to you on that. So I'm gonna go to the next item, 2B, budget. Sharon, you'd also sent out some information, and I want to make sure that we kind of capture the nature of asking for funds, for sponsorships, for donations. You put a bunch of information together, so that went out with the package to everybody. I did pull up those websites as well, so we can take a look at it. Actually, let me just take one step back. I know that we've got to cut out sometime soon. So 6. So maybe we want to first go over to marketing with the rest of the committee's endorsement. I'll just jot you around the agenda here. Let me go down. Community outreach, marketing. We've got graphics, website, and social media. Sharon, this is also a topic that you put out in your email attachments. Strategic framework, web presence. The official committee name and logo is the first item. I know we talked about this last time around. Did you have a specific?
I was just using what the town calls, what the Secretary of State Maury calls it on his website, the one that Terry goes to and adds the notes and the agendas and the minutes. And I'm also referring to the Forum Center of South Kingstown. They both have this name as the South, and this was given, the name is called the South Kingstown USA 250th Committee. On here it's the South Kingstown USA 250th Committee. So it's.
So I'm on you also gave us the link to North Kingstown, so I'm gonna see they're calling themselves the 250th Committee down here in North Kingstown. So did you have a suggestion as far as our name?
Yeah, I like, let's see, when they named it, what do they call themselves on there?
In North Kingstown, it says 250th. Actually, I got two things. On the top, it says North Kingstown Sesquicentennial or 250th Committee. And then
That's
down,
what I like.
and down here, but I think the common language is the 250th Committee.
Yeah, that's good enough, yeah,
Okay.
since we've already got the name.
Did you,
Yeah.
are we gonna make a motion for that?
I have no problem with that if you want to make it as a
Wanna make a
motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we keep the name as it appears on two websites, the South Kingstown, 250th, the USA 250th, is there a preference there? Do you like USA 250? That's what's on our thing.
I mean, that's interesting because again, we just celebrated the 300th. Now we're like going backwards, but we're really not. It's
I know,
you know what I mean? So
But everybody, I mean, it's pretty much known now, and one of the places says it's fun to say quincentennial, and it's pretty much right now, there's not a big confusion. And if you go across the board and look all over the state of Rhode Island, most of them don't, they just say that 250, they don't put anything in it, they just put their title. It's the same thing, and the states do the same thing, RI 250, they don't have to define themselves as they're part of what it means, it's gonna be branded and that's gonna happen. That was just my point.
yeah.
And I tried to do a search of all of them, and they just like what we have is what they have.
So you say SK, South Kingstown 250th?
Okay.
All right, I second it.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yeah, for sake of the minutes, was the approval to SK 250th or SK South Kingstown USA 250th?
Well, South Kingston 250th Committee.
Okay, got it.
Okay. save me spell check. All right. We had this agenda item set up as graphics as well, and Sharon, just going back to North Kingstown website, you see they use the 250th logo from the state, and they just put an emblem around the back of it, so that's what they did.
Can I comment on that? When I asked about I got a letter back about, what was it called, a memorandum, or what would I call it? A memorandum, or something, I forget what it was. They had to fill out one because they branded themselves with their logo.
Yep.
So they had to enter into an agreement because of that.
Right.
If you didn't use that logo, it's just assumed that we're part of it. And that's where I knew that they had entered into that agreement. That's why I brought that up. Did we cover that
Yep.
base?
Yep, that makes, so Sharon's referring to Lauren Fogarty sent guidance with the branding, the logo, multiple logos. So if we intend to use the state's logo, we have to basically abide by their rules, and that's fair. We did talk months ago about a South Kingstown version of this logo. We talked about focal point being the Kingston Free Library, because that's aligned with, actually it was the town manager's suggestion that we have a focus on one of the original state houses. And looking at the town council's stated objectives, one of their objectives for celebrating the 250th is to have a focus on the Kingston Free Library. So there's an artist, Pete McPhee, who's working on that as a concept. He's going to be bringing that forth for this committee's review and comment at some point. Don't have it yet. So I would say that's a very soon to happen event at the next, perhaps at the next meeting. And I've given him some embellishments, right? Some background. We gave him the information on the Rhode Island First Regiment, the Black and Indigenous populations in not only Rhode Island but in South Kingstown in particular. And Sharon, that's a tip of the hat to the work that you're involved with. We talked about the natural beauty of the town of South Kingstown. Give him some ideas of what he could wrap into a logo without being too artsy and too muddled. We also said, and it also has to fit on a bumper sticker or a T-shirt or a car magnet or something like that. So that's forthcoming. We don't have it yet, but I just wanted to let you know that work is in play.
And it's always still on that subject.
Yes.
So can we put the names of our committee members on the webpage?
Yep. So again, Chloe's here to help out. Are you our webmaster?
Yeah, sure, we'll say that.
We've actually started to talk about taking the 300th page as the template,
Yep.
not to recreate the wheel. Work with Lori Fox. She put the 300th web page together, and to use that to recreate one for the 250th. And we're getting together with her so that we can have something for probably, I don't know, you're meeting on the 10th, or probably the second meeting in July, whenever that is, we'll have the page drafted and ready for review.
Okay.
So, and with whatever we have, the basics, the mission, the committee members, and then we can start to populate it once some of these programs are fleshed out a little more. We can tease them all with general information, but.
Sure. And Carol, just going back a couple months ago, we had talked about recognizing we didn't have a ton of people on the committee, that our goal was to try to flesh out all of our events that we wanted to back, to get our talking points squared away. We had that template for standard elevator speech for what our events are, what your needs are, and eventually over, let's say, July and August, we consolidate that, and that's publishable material. I definitely see, and I appreciate what Sharon's pointing out, that North Kingstown's got to jump on us. They do absolutely. They've got a website. Honestly, not a lot of content. There's some speaker series going on now, but that's because Tim Cranston is awesome in North Kingstown. If you know Tim Cranston, he is a walking history book, right? Yes.
The reason they're so far ahead is they did what Terry was talking about. They went ahead and just went over their 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because they have speaker series all the time, they link to things that are going on now.
Yeah.
Which we could, because I brought that packet that's going on right now and brought it up twice on partnership. There's a picture if you want something of the Kingston Library. All the things that right now, we said we would partner with Erica at the 250. That needs to be on there. We need to be sponsoring that. We need to be sponsoring their tour. They're doing things right now, and I've talked with Laurel, and I went over there with Laurel, and they're doing all this. We should be putting that on our website. It's already being done.
Sure. I
So
totally
that's
agree.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
And it's like, they started 2 months after we did. They just got started, but they just didn't reinvent the wheel. They did what's going on, which we could do also. And we have that,
Yeah, and
information.
Laurel's been very
Yes.
open
right.
with that information. Certainly, we can connect with Laurel and make sure we add those things.
Okay, so it feels like, to your point, Sharon, there's linking other town events. There's the 4th of July, there's the beach or the concert series, everything in Kingston, the library system is doing. Kingston Improvement Association, we've talked to Joe Bailey at the Chamber of Commerce, so we've got all of that information feeding up. It's not on the website yet, so.
And to that point, this is the table we set up.
Yep.
And I actually paid to have these flyers printed. I ran off 50 of their walking tour that the librarians, these people are doing this now.
Yep.
They're doing 250th stuff now, way ahead of us, okay?
Yep.
And then we're partnering with them. I've got letters from their librarian thanking us. When I was driving here from Pensacola and we were trying to make this March meeting, they were texting me and sending me these things, and I was sending to the print shop and paying for them to be put in these, and I'd like to see this up there too. I've got this to put all these things that are being done now on the table. So that was what our charge was. We were supposed to tell people what are you doing? What are you doing? And we were doing. There is things in our town going on. I just like to see those.
So that makes sense. I think I've captured this in some of the draft minutes, and I don't know that we need a motion for that. I mean, it seems to be just good follow-through.
Yeah, I think it's good to remind us, all of us as a committee, to some of the conversations we had very early on in this, that we're a much smaller committee than we were for the 300. We've got a compressed amount of time. Our focus is really on the events that we as a collective group decided that we are gonna back and we're gonna support. So all these other things are fantastic and really good, and they're being marketed by the organizations that are promoting them. And when we're up and running, let's
They'll
add
get
them
added.
to ours. But I think we've got to give ourselves a little bit of grace that this very small group has been very busy getting as far as we've gotten.
Well, yeah, very good. I'm just saying that we had a cemetery cleanup that involved French Revolutionary soldiers, so we flagged their graves, and that could have been up there, and I'm involved in that. Nobody came
Yeah,
to
but
May
that's-
17th from this
I
committee.
think we're like an hour, almost an hour into this meeting, and I think that all these other kind of, they're not really tangential, they're certainly related, they're parallel events. I think we've got to kind of let them run their course and not let this meeting, this committee get kind of sidetracked from talking about our events, which we have not yet even addressed tonight.
So, yeah, I would just, ditto that, and I think Sharon's right. We need to, coordinate. So I think we all agree with that, and I think that's a great idea. So,
There you go.
but we need to move on and take advantage of our town
Yeah.
staff while they're still here.
All right, so through consensus, it sounds like we're gonna follow up on all those, and I'll throw all that burden on Chloe to work on the 250th website for next week, so thank you, Chloe. And I just ask, you know, if you have any specific items or events, Sharon, as you're out and about doing cemetery cleanups, anything that's like tripping into the actual 250th, and I'm generally saying that's starting on I guess it would be on July 5th, right, of this year, then that's like the 1 year clock, but pick a date. You can send information to Terry and Chloe, and we'll kind of screen it and make sure that everything is consistent with the 250th themes. We'll start populating interesting things to do, to see.
I just brought up visits in our notes and our agendas and our meetings. That was part of what we were doing. Our committee.
Sounds good. One other subtopic here is social media. I think for the 300th, you know, as we fleshed out the individual discrete events, there was a follow-on. Myself, Sean Johnson, created some Facebook events, you know, and through social media we can invite people, you know, then we try to get things to go viral. It's still to be seen if we feel it's appropriate or worthwhile to, you know, try to boost our social media presence. I mean, off the top of my head, because I'm an older guy, it's like Facebook, but Instagram seems to be a better platform to get to the younger crowd. I don't think I've done 2 TikToks. I don't think I have anybody trying to do a TikTok.
2 more than I have.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so have we done there, since I got a point of order, what about the minutes from the last meeting?
So we don't have them, so thank you. We do have drafts, but they weren't ready to send it out, so we're going to review them at the next meeting. Is it okay, Sharon? Sometimes, yeah, that does happen.
If you have them, it allows for corrections and clarifications.
Oh, absolutely.
Before moving on, you know, that's the only reason
Yeah,
I was asking.
No, it's, you're aligned with everybody else. We like to have them. I know Kate wasn't here. We did have the recording. Did you?
We have a lengthy recording that I am struggling a little bit with downloading to get to Kate.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I think there's a way to just do text, voice to text, if it'll work, to get the gist of it down.
I mean, if you guys want to jump in, you know, the AI note taker is awesome, but it's scary as well, because it'll start interpreting like, oh, so-and-so said this, it's interesting.
And what did he mean by that?
Yeah. But anyways, we could follow up on that for
Yeah,
another thing.
okay.
This is a quick segue to Sharon's point. So back to social media. Does anybody else have any thoughts on social media? Typically, I like to say, well, have something to say first. What is it? Is that cake mostly baked? You know, are we sure this isn't a fleeting thing that is never going to materialize? Because we'd hate to start promoting something and not be able to do it. So my thought is that, again, through the next 2 months, we're rounding out. Speaker series seems to be solid. Mark and I did meet. Sharon, I did invite you on Saturday to go for a walkabout at Saugatuck Park. We had some folks from the Kingston Reds there. So that's starting to get more and more rounded out, better understood. They had some great suggestions. We pivoted a little bit to accommodate their safety concerns, but the sense of pageantry. We got something pretty special baking. Yeah. But we're going to need the next month and a half in order to, you know, to actually say, okay, you know, Chloe, hey, this is what we're thinking, and could you help out? And it could be, again, we could just be doing some quirky, fun videos. We could get some folks from the Kingston Reds, and they've got some women in colonial dress that say, hey, can you come out and do a quick photo shoot at Brickley's, getting a red, white, and blue ice cream
great.
cone? You know what I mean? We're gonna have fun with this, you know. But that's probably in the late August time step. That's what I'm thinking. Sounds good.
Another question about the website.
Yeah.
The purpose.
The what? What was the
Our
what?
purpose.
What's the focus? I mean, you know, is it to promote?
No, it
The-
says here, they have a purpose, and every one of these websites, and every one of these, the 250 committees from the state in other places the purpose. So they did state the purpose there. I brought a purpose up, which I wrote,
Okay, well, right here is North Kingston one.
yes,
We aim to share engaging educational and civic-minded events in North Kingstown in calendar years 25 and 26 to recognize the 250th anniversary of the birth of our nation, to encourage and grow community spirit and camaraderie rooted in North Kingstown since its 1674 establishment. Sharon, I'm sorry, did you say you're starting to work on something?
no, I had one, but it doesn't matter. This committee needs to come up with a purpose. It's like, we have to have a purpose written.
If you'd like to suggest one for the next meeting, that could be in line, if Chloe has a placeholder for a purpose statement like the North Kingstown one, then she could drag it, drop it in there. I think that would be wonderful.
That was just on my notes to do.
Sharon, were you referring to what was on your poster board?
I did have that, but that was just that wasn't a purpose, that was more of a
Mission statement?
slogan.
Slogan?
Yeah.
And that was South Kingston 250 honoring 1776, living the legacy, commemorating our nation's founding through service, civic engagement, and historical remembrance. It's just another slogan. That doesn't mean to be our purpose, it was just a slogan to put up at that thing. I think the purpose, I don't think this would be a purpose.
Okay. Any other thoughts on social media at this particular point in time?
I got one more comment
Yes.
on that. I talked to a couple of people in the town, and what they do is it's okay to take something that this committee or that the social media people put out and share it on our town, South Kingston, and some of the community pages. They said that was quite acceptable. So if you guys put something out, I can forward it and share it on a community page. And I didn't know we could do that. They said, yes, we can.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there's like all the unofficial, our town 2, our town Wakefield. And it's like, oh my God, so much drama. But there's also a lot of people that look at that stuff.
A lot of information is on those pages.
Right. And I think the supplement to that is the town has an official Facebook presence.
Yes.
Recreation department does.
There are a number of town departments, the library does,
Yep.
the recreation department does, the police department does, the town does, so there's a lot of existing sites that could be utilized if you're not thinking of creating a complete standalone, and then you can tag, Chloe knows better than I do, tag all the
Yeah.
different organizations and places that you want to share that.
Okay.
So we can certainly do that and get the town departments
Yep.
on board.
And again, it was great to have Sean Johnson on that because he's a writer anyway, so it was just
Yes.
kind of hand glove, really worked well. So I'm hopeful we'll get there, but it's all about content. And yes,
Are you a writer, Chloe?
One thing I would say that would help with social media is maybe figure out who you want to target, if it's just everyone, and then play into that strengths. Like for when I do the Parks and Rec department, if there's a class that I know is going to be offered to younger people who have younger parents, it goes out on Instagram. But if I know it's going to be something maybe the older community is going to be interested in, I send it over to Sue at the Senior Center, and I have her share that. So I think coming up with an idea of who you want to target, what events you think are going to be, what demographics are going to be attending events is going to be really helpful for this committee. And Terry and I, when we're putting stuff out, knowing who we want to get to come to this, how we think they're going to perceive the information we're giving them is going to be helpful to kind of come together and figure that out.
oh, you like do it like the right way instead of just throwing spaghetti.
And
at the
that
wall.
works too. If it's something that every demographic's going to want to attend, but the 18 and younger community might not want to attend the speaker series, so Instagram might be a moot point at that point, and we just might be, putting something out there that gets very little engagement.
My
So.
feelings are kind of hurt. I am
And-
a senior
and you know-
citizen, and I do have Instagram.
No, and I post things on Instagram that I feel like I would like, and I'm missing that demographic too. So I'm relearning
Yeah.
what everyone likes, but I think that's something that the committee would benefit
Chloe's all
from.
about age discrimination, I can see that right now.
And forgive me, Mark, but I think Instagram doesn't mean when you married Sarah, she became an instant grandma. That's not the same.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, so I'm with you on that. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. I think it's all about content. What I didn't have listed
Yeah,
here,
check,
graphics, website, social media, is obviously the printed media. We've talked about this in the past. I don't want to inadvertently keep kicking the can down the road. Sharon has, rang the bell, made sure she knows, hey, come on, Bristol's running, Newport's running, North Kingstown's running. So I think we got a good disposition to get the website up and running. That'll help prompt us to say, okay, we've got, let's say the next meeting, that'll give us like a short fuse, let's say about a month before end of summer, and then it's like people are going back to school and things are changing. In my mind, that's the perfect time to start pushing this content out there. Because honestly, summertime is for other things. So we will probably add the television and newspaper and other outlets as another standing marketing subtopic. Thank you very much, Chloe.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Claude. That's good time.
All right, I'm going to go back up to the agenda. To be, or not to be, it is to be. To be. Grants, donations, fundraising. Sharon and I talked offline last month, had a very spirited conversation. She has done incredible work in terms of getting with the reps. Did you also reach out to senators as well as far as this, I can say this past year's legislative session? So you've been successful getting,
Yes, I copied that letter to you.
yep.
So
Yep.
it was just the Senator Sosnowski, Boone, and Bell, Burning.
Yes, Senator Bill
And
Burge.
just gave them what the request was, and that's what I wanted to discuss with the budget, because, in order for me to do something like this, I have to get permission from the committee.
Yep.
Also, permission has to be from the town before you can apply for a grant,
Yep.
and this committee has to agree. I've got several agreements I want to talk about, and can't stay here, it's too late to talk about, this is very important. Because I misunderstood, because I wasn't trained, and I am trained now, believe me, okay? So, what I'd like to talk about is, grants, and what do you want to talk about first?
Well,
This is all under budget.
Yeah. I mean, at the highest level, I think, as we were talking earlier, we need to be functional here at a very high level, and then allow folks that are the point people for the individual programs to go forward and be fruitful and to make progress, so we have something to talk about at the next meeting. And we don't want to miss the opportunity for a grant application. If there's a need for a motion of the committee, we should think about that as well. So at the highest level, now that I think we're rounding out all of our projects, at the last meeting you had given us the talking points for your memorial program. So that makes sense. So I think we're all understanding what the outcome is. I think the idea is that we just need to talk about how and when we need to have a committee endorsement.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Okay.
about grants.
Yep.
Okay? There are grants available. Are you gonna apply for the grant for your skirmish? Are you gonna apply for the grant for your bonfire?
So,
Am I gonna
I'm not
apply
having
the
a
grant?
bonfire, I don't know what you're talking
Or
about.
not the bonfire, the beach party?
yeah. So what
I'm just, these people, Mr. July, who is applying for the grants? And whose toes are we stepping on if we apply for a grant and we're actually taking the money that they had supposed they were gonna apply for? How do we do that?
So to that point, and Sharon and I had talked about this, offline. So at the council's request, I modified my very ambitious initial budget request down to a paltry, $30,000, and I listed a specific budget for each of the events. You had given us last meeting, a substantial increase in the value of the memorial, which makes sense, aligned with what it actually is. So now it's a reconciliation process. Right now, everybody's funded. We don't need grants if we're just working off of town funding. However, we do know that Secretary of State should have a grant program, so this is kind of a hand-in-glove discussion. We all have baseline funding, funded through the town council. We actually broke it up into fiscal years. So now you have a project that needs more money, so obviously we want to support it. And as we're getting the skirmish project rounded out, we're just at the point where we talked to New England Carriage Company. We're starting to get the actual costs in. So I don't know.
Did you predict 13, don't you have 13,000 on the?
Oh yeah. And I took that using like the cost from the parade,
Right.
for the 300th parade, because a lot of those folks were the same. So I think I'm going to be close, or we're going to be close with that.
So what do you have left over in the budget with the 30,000?
Oh, it's we're not, we're right there. Like we're right around 13. In other words, I'm trying to shoehorn it into the 13,000. If I had to guess, yeah, we could use some more money. Sure, a couple of grand. I don't know. It's tough to say. We don't have all of the people sending us their, proposals yet.
Will you have any money left over with 30,000 at all?
The idea was no, because we programmed the 30,000 for all of the events.
Okay, so there's no money for that, okay, that's
Right, but now that we know that, because again, you originally were like, well, it's a rock, and then it's like, well, actually, no, it should be a monument. So it's naturally, and no, I don't think anybody's arguing with it. It's going to cost money. If you want to do it right, it costs money. It costs us over $100,000 for the rabbit or star, right? Things cost money, so that's not an issue. It's just really like, what does this committee do, right? So as there is a request with the town as the fiduciary, like we should just hear it, understand it, and if there's a need, there's a motion, we take a motion, or we hear a motion, we pass it, there's an endorsement. I mean, that's still not a hands-off transaction. I would think that in some instances, the town might still have to be a fiduciary, and the town may have to sign off. It depends on who the grantor is.
The rock was after the money that you got. All that came after you.
Yep.
The money that the rock, and by the way, the rock and the bronze was more expensive than this, okay?
Right.
It was a cheaper version, okay? To have this barrel that matches the money. But my point in here is that the money that's left over in the budget there's no money left over in that budget. The 30,000 will go to the skirmish, is that what you're saying? Probably.
No, I'm not saying that.
Spread out.
Yeah, no, it's, we have, we're all going together. Like, we're on a boat, we're all rowing. If we're all rowing in all directions, we're not going anywhere. So we're all gonna try to get to everybody's destination. So
But
this,
what I'm just trying to tell you is I discovered the omission of these people after the budget was proposed. It's a whole new thing.
okay,
So I'm just saying, I am assuming from what you have said in the past, that money is budgeted for this committee and it's dispersed. And I didn't have a very big part of it. You read about it, it said below budget flowers and everything. That's what it was. It's completely changed. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just saying that's my understanding. That was done before I came up with.
yeah, understood, right.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we shouldn't really be talking, yeah, that's fine, Sharon. I think, so what I'm hearing is that you're proposing, and you kind of did it unofficially, but you shared your information last meeting. We get it, it costs more money. I don't think anybody's challenging that. It's not a problem. That's being now absorbed into the overall program budget, and now we got to think about how we get there. Fundraising, grants, donations, sponsorships, sure, all the above.
Okay.
And I think in the context, what I'm understanding is John and Karen Desmond have a very lean program, right? So he's like $300 honorarium. It's not a lot, right? So his program is easily administered. The skirmish is just something new that we're just creating, and we're collecting information. I'm hopeful to bring it in within that budget. we're really talking about, and then we're holding a small amount of money for the Town Beach program next year. So we're really talking about your program, your expanded vision. And my suggestion is that we just talk about that in terms of the overall program budget, right? We're all gonna, the committee's gonna vote to endorse it, we're gonna vote to endorse grants, you know what I mean? We're all gonna row in your direction.
But what I heard you saying before, the SOS grant,
Yeah.
do you have visions of that, applying for that for the skirmish?
I would say it honestly depends on their guidance. So in other words, I did talk to Lauren, and some of these are in-kind donations. Some of them might want to have duration. They may want to be targeted towards monuments than a singular event. So until she sends out the guidance, we won't know how to write the grant. So the best type of money is, fungible money, money that doesn't have strings attached. This committee should allocate the funds to the programs. Speaker Series doesn't need much support. I don't think the skirmish is going to need much support outside of what we've already said. The Town Beach program is pretty well constrained, so I think all the funding that we bring in would likely go to this monument. That's what it feels like.
So the question I asked in these was, can we come to an agreement that if we do apply for a grant, that the committee approves, is there an agreement that funding will go to the program that it is designated?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and like I said, at the first cut, I think if we had an open hand and they're just saying, hey, we're going to give you money, it's green, just do what you will with it, and a lot of folks that donated money would do that. That's fine. What we should do, to your point, I think, is back it up, and administratively, we should say, we get this, but we're going to put this over here in the memorial ledger, right? We're going to carry that over there in the ledger for the memorial, so as you're going to need to get deposits and other things, the money's there, right? We don't want any shenanigans. We don't want money to go missing. None of that nonsense. I don't see this committee.
I'm not saying that, I just was talking about intent.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you about that is, I would like myself to sit down with the town manager and fiduciary people and find out how this works. Because like, for example, is the town if you donate to the town, well, first of all, any grant money, anything we get goes to the town writes us the check. We don't. If we do a fundraiser, we don't. It goes to the town, and then the town writes us a check. Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to find out, is the town, if I have somebody that wants to give $100,000 to the monument, just for example, and then that means it goes to the town, do they get what is that called? What? No, not a
Well, yeah,
sponsorship.
you get a tax letter,
Do
for.
they get,
Yes.
they do
Yeah.
get,
Yes.
so the town is the same as if you gave it to,
Yes, we went through this with the 300. There is a tax write-off for
the person that
donations.
donates. That
Yeah.
was one of the questions I
Correct,
had.
and I have that language in the letter that we use for,
Well, I wasn't here. if you
No, no, no,
remember.
no, that's
I only
okay.
came in halfway.
I'm
down
just
the line.
sharing that I can, we
So
have,
I'd like
yes.
to know what that is, because actually the town is the owner of every bit of money that we raise. And there's fundraisers I have planned, there's grants I have planned to write, there's all kinds of things like that, but it's to the town has to, and before you apply for grant, you gotta ask the town.
Right.
And I didn't know that, I just thought, and you gotta ask the committee first, I
So-
didn't know that procedure.
So let's, to that point, I think I'd like to follow the past practices of the 300s. So I'd like an affirmation that this committee will have to first endorse grants before they're tendered, grant applications. And we should also make a note, if the grant applications for a specific intended event or program, that we make a note of that. I'll say that in the form of a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And I'd like
Under
to say
discussion.
that
Go ahead.
intended, not intended, that it goes to the intended purpose or the intended whatever it was. What was the word?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Intended event, intended usage, intended whatever.
Yep. Okay. Any other discussion, thoughts on that?
Two-part motion, one
Well,
with grant.
well, and the other part of that attached to it should be that also that it go before the town afterwards.
You know, it really depends on, again, we did a ton of direct fundraising, and that didn't go before the council, right? It just didn't. That was like, here it is, here's our elevator speech, here's all the programs we're doing. We met with business owners, we met with individuals, and when they said, yes, we'd like to be part of it, I said, great. Here's the town finance director or the town clerk, I forget how it worked, but we didn't touch the money, it went right into town hall, went right into the ledger. So that's private donations. Grants are a little bit different, and they are all different, and some of them may need the full force and effect and support of a council.
For example, a legislative grant had to have the support of the
Well, depends on the amount. There is an amount that the town manager can sign off on without it having to go to the town
He
council.
specifically told me that if it's a grant, it has to go before the council. He cannot touch a grant.
So there it is. You know, so the town staff has spoke, given good legal counsel. We're going to take it, just like the minimum quorum. So we're going to do that. Let's do that. So, fine. I'm with, and I don't think we need to flog this because honestly, let's let the Secretary of State's guidance come out. That's, I think, some of the bigger grant money that's out there, and we can rally around it one more time if we have to. If we have to amend what we're voting on right now.
So, all right, let me just try and clarify here. So there's different colors of money, right? So we got the town budget that's been voted on, been approved for $30,000. There's grants. So if you want to go for a grant, there's donations. If somebody wants to donate some money, we fundraise. I guess if we have an event. So fundraise, you know, selling bottles of water. And so
There's sponsorships. that
the
have all different
sponsorships,
rules.
right? So what of those, so if we go for a grant, I have a great idea for a grant. I should do what? Present it to you and then say, talk about it at the next meeting. And if the council, if the committee says, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, and then Terry hopefully be here, and we'll coordinate with the town, and then write it up and submit, right? If it's fundraising, again, bring up an idea, we have a good idea for a fundraiser, bring up the committee, and that doesn't necessarily have to go through the city, I guess, town. But again, the town will be here, so we can always get
But the
advice.
difference there was the fundraising they did, they bought out of their budget, and then they went and sold, correct?
What was that again?
Like when you were buying all
You-
that stuff and
you-
selling at the grocery stores.
You bought it out of our budget,
It was coming out of the budget.
town budget.
The
Yeah.
town,
Yeah.
the budget
Yeah.
that was allocated from the committee.
Yeah.
Right.
That's different than if you go out here and have a fundraiser, which I'm getting help, I'm gonna get some help because the legislators are gonna run fundraisers for me. That has got to be approved by the town, and it's got to be approved by you first.
So yeah, let's change the dialect. So it's not individuals, right? So let's just start saying the committee. So the committee, the committee, the committee. And yes, you know, so as Senator Sosnowski or Teresa Tanzi want to do some fundraising, love to have them there. The committee would like to understand what's going on. We want to be all full supportive of all of this effort. And again, it's a small group here. So I think we don't want to be burdensome of individual folks that are going out there and making good progress. You're making great progress. John and Karen have been making good progress, great progress. Mark and I have made substantial progress in this skirmish. So,
But what I'm hearing from Sharon is she wants to make sure that if she has a sponsorship, fundraiser, or a grant, it is earmarked for her program.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
every-
I think that's
No,
fair.
but if it is earmarked for my program, you might be having one that is earmarked for the skirmish.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, the party that wants to have it, that there's an agreement at this table that if that was the intent, that the money be dispersed there, not that you're robbing anything. Because the huge error that I made without attending this committee is because I didn't know. That's why I want all this explained in black and white, because this committee, I didn't know. I just went and did what I thought I was supposed to do. We had a meeting canceled, I went before the thing, I didn't know any of this. Now I know.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. In the 300th, we had a lot of people. I served on the fundraising committee, so it seems, I've done a lot of fundraising outside of town committees as well. So forgive me, because I kind of took that for granted. But I'm with you. If there's a grant and anybody on the committee wants to pursue a grant, it should be an agenda item, and let's talk about it. I don't see anybody here that would want to oppose it. And we would all just knowingly say, that's great, let's put that, let's earmark it, that goes to this category. We know there's a significant debit in the now better defined ceremony, the monument program. So I can see a lot of, grant money and donation expectations
So,
going over
so
there.
what I'm hearing is, we're a family,
Yeah.
essentially, right? We're family, we gotta talk, we gotta communicate, get expectations, and if we're talking, that's where we're successful. And if they have an idea, bring it up, we'll talk about it, or just, am I okay with this? And then march forward.
So I made a motion, and I forgot what it was already. I think I made a motion to have
There's a
proposals.
two-part
Yeah.
motion. The proposals for grants are presented to the committee for the committee's agreement, and that should those grants be funded, those funds will be used as intended by the grant.
Sounds
That's
good.
a grant, any grant.
And I think I seconded that motion, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this grants or grants and fundraisers?
Honestly, it should
Well,
be.
it's money.
So,
Yeah.
it should be both, honestly, because I know Teresa, you happen to live next door, so you know Teresa better than I do. But so I won't go ask Teresa for money. That would be poor form on our committee if we did that. We don't want to step on each other's toes. So grants or fundraising, we should coordinate it. We have an standing agenda item, so every time we get together, hey, anybody else got any brilliant ideas? Oh, yeah, I know so-and-so at the Ocean Miss or whatever company. That's great. Anybody else know them? Hey, maybe both of you guys want to go talk to them? So let's just use this as
So
a.
would you amend your motion to say grants, any
Donations.
donations or any,
Fundraising.
Any incoming money.
No,
Fund-
because
and
it's
money.
a whole different set of rules for sponsorship. They
Yeah.
have to fill out a legal form and everything, we can't say sponsor. Because we're gonna put that on our website hopefully, and they're gonna become sponsors.
Well,
That's
I,
illegal.
it's all legal, and we did sponsorships as part of our donations, right? So the quid pro quo is, yes, I'll give you money, can I be a sponsor? So it's one and the same, so I accept that. I think I accept the friendly modification Mark's making. It's just incoming money, grants, donations, sponsorships. Honestly, it's all money that comes into this committee through the town. We should discuss it at the committee. It should get endorsed, and it should be earmarked.
Yeah, and we can, at the discussion, we can say sponsorship, fundraiser, whatever the money, incoming money is, earmark it for X program. That's all you gotta do.
It's solicitation of funds.
Oh,
It's a
yes,
big word.
Can we
there
vote
you
that?
go,
any
solicitation
solicitation of
of
funds? Sure, that makes sense.
All right,
And expenditures.
so we have a motion, we have a second, and we just had discussion. What do you think, Ken?
Any
Solicitation-
other,
Solicitation
any other
and
thoughts?
expenditures?
Okay,
I just had a question for clarification. So, we're waiting for the state to come down with their budget to be able to allocate funds from them for the 300. We don't have to, we can ask for money as, our committee, we don't have to break it down into each event that we're doing, correct? Like-
It depends on what the grant is. It depends on who the donor is. So some
could
instances,
be
yes,
general.
some instances, no.
It could just be
So-
dedicated
so-
to general
but-
costs.
Yeah.
or
But
dedicated to
the legislative grants are very specific. The grants that are coming out of the Secretary's office will be very specific. So we're getting way ahead of ourselves. I can tell you that for all the donations that we pulled in, at least half, more than them, were like, oh, I want to sponsor that program. I want to sponsor that program. They wanted their specific recognition for specific events. So my expectation is very few incoming money will be no strings attached, aside of maybe what the council's giving us. That's kind of like the free play money. We can move that to where we need it to go, but otherwise it's probably going to be very specific. That's what my guess is.
Okay, so, yeah, I guess I was under the impression that, once the state gets their budget, say they had the $1 million like they had, mentioned in the past, that then we could, say, ask for another $30,000 for these 4 events that we plan on doing. We wouldn't necessarily be able to write it up that way. We would have to, apply for a grant for each event that we plan on doing.
This is highly speculative. What we saw at the 300th, we had a very specific grant opportunity for art in public places. We got it. And guess what? It's all it was for. So my expectation is like 90% of the money we pull in is going to be for something specific. So we got a motion. All solicitations for funding, grants, donations, fundraisers, sponsorships should be proposed to the committee and be earmarked. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Aye.
Also, under the budget, we had letters to legislators. I think that's kind of a follow-on. Sharon, we talked, she did good work in getting this current, or let's just say recently passed legislative session. She got some applications in, so good on you, Sharon. Do we need to give an official endorsement for them so we can collect the money? Is that what we're talking about now, you think?
Well, the money isn't there yet.
Okay.
Okay, so when that happens, because I don't exactly know, I'm not sure. That's why I was going so fast. She said, if you don't get this in today, the session's gonna close. And so I was just running like a mad person, and that's why I was up like 48 hours with no sleep trying to get all this done, because I had to present a proposal and all that. And under the budget, are we still under sponsorships on the
Sure,
website?
go ahead. Yep.
If there's a committee, because I'd love to be on a committee that I'd like to do with North Kingstown, because they have their sponsorship tier and levels, and they use names from their town. I'd like to be on a committee to help with that. And that would go before the web, it's gonna be in 2 months, but I'd still like to be doing that now.
My suggestion is, again, because we don't have a lot of people, I think taking that concept, emulating it for South Kingstown is fine, because, again, in about a month and a half, our website's populated. Maybe we've got a sub-page for donations, and we've got the platinum or the red, the white, the blue, however we want to figure it out, different levels of sponsorship. But what it really comes down to is then it's like we can do the mass mailing, or honestly, with the 300th fundraising committee, we caucused. Joanne, Beth, myself, Roland helped out quite a bit. We had a very specific list of people, and we carved up, and we went out. And we're only about 20% out of everybody, but some of those people stepped up, and man, they hit it out of the park. You only need 1 or 2 big donations and really make your day. So I would ask Sharon. I like your idea, and again, we don't have to. Similar to how North Kingstown is repurposed their website, we're going to repurpose our 300th website. If you've got a template for sponsorship levels, let's get that out and over to Terry and Chloe, and she can help with a draft. And before our website goes live at our next meeting, we'll bless it, and then we'll talk about how we're going to carve up responsibility to go solicit some donations. That's my suggestion. It's how I've done it at Welcome House, and it's how I did it at the 300th. It seems to work. Did you have anything else on that?
Budget, yeah.
Okay.
I want to ask for reimbursement. I won't do it this meeting because it's slow, but I'd like a reimbursement for all this I've spent for that, for this
How much?
recycling.
Okay.
I have a print source. I have a print source.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
bring it. Just put that in the notes that I'm asking for reimbursement. In the
Okay.
next meeting, I'll actually give you a source.
Right, and I think going forward, because we all want to be above the board, so if we feel like we're going to be in a position where we're committing ourselves for funding, you can reach out to me as a chair and Terry and say, hey, I need some cover on this, because I'm out of pocket. If we're out of cycle of a committee
Well, we weren't
meeting.
even a committee then, and
Yeah.
I was not invited to the meeting that you all had before. I got a note from Warren, and I did all this in the car, and I came up, okay, with this and packaged it at 12 o'clock noon at
That's
the
when you
shop.
came up from Florida, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah, so I
goodness.
didn't have, and Mark kept on writing, we have no budget, we have no budget.
We didn't,
I said,
yeah.
well, how are we gonna do this? So if you all say, no, we really didn't have a budget, we really, come on, this does breaks the rules, I'm okay, I'm not poor. It would just be a nice gesture to reimburse me for this, and if I don't, it won't be the first time.
Gotcha, it sounds like you'll get some receipts to us, and we'll take that up next month.
Would it be appropriate to make a motion that, at least, from this point forward, when you have expenditures, what you just said, please, contact the chairperson,
Okay, pre-approval for
get pre-approval
expenditures.
for expenditures.
That's
Yeah.
my motion.
And that's how I usually run things. And I'm not, no dispersion on what you did, because I understand exactly what the circumstances were.
Yes, I-
And I appreciate
Go ahead,
that.
I'll vote for that, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so it sounds like, who made the motion?
I did.
I know he
second
did,
it.
but you did it after.
Well, I
he did.
cleared it up.
Okay, I'll make the motion, and you can second.
All right, I second.
All right, any other discussion on getting pre-approval for reimbursements? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, perfect. Okay,
I'd like to make a motion.
yes, ma'am.
The motion would be that I get reimbursed for some money that didn't fit under that because of the circumstances.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion? Call for a motion. Any, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sharon. That was a fun, we rocked the State House.
That we had the best
We had the
display.
best setup by far. Yeah. You would have been proud of us, Carol. Yeah, we were. It was the Ukrainian, remember? We were so young and impressionable back then, we thought that all we had to worry about was the Russian-Ukrainian war. Oh my God.
So that's right, they came in the house, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Now it's the resistance.
Right. Okay, so we had a line item here, and, sorry Sharon, any other thing under the budget? Okay, we had a follow-on, section 2 here for letters to legislators. I think that was intended to talk about the legislative grants, but now we all understand that if we got some ideas moving forward, the committee endorses it, and then we can go forward. Do you have any active grant applications with any senators or reps?
Except for that one, but they don't, it's next year.
It's next year, okay.
And this is an 8-month process to finish, and it takes 8 months, minimum 9 months, to start a monument, deliver it, and all that, carve it, and so
Yeah.
it's gonna be too late to get money. It's
But that's
gonna be
okay, there's
too late.
other, but I'm saying you approach Teresa and Senator Sosnowski. Are we going to, is the 250th committee through the town gonna get a check from them for a legislative grant?
I think the one, we're gonna get 2 checks, one for 8,000 and another one for 8,000. I think, I didn't bring you that information because I don't have it.
That's okay.
And I'm not sure when we get that. But if so, and they also want to do a fundraiser for this event.
So let's park this, we won't take a motion on this, but I wanna get clear on this because sometimes legislators like to make promises. I love Teresa and I love Sue, but they're politicians, right? So, but if they're making promises, but what they really mean is, oh, well, no, that's coming through the Secretary of State's, that could be a separate grant. Like,
No, it's a legislative grant and the town council approved it.
and well,
application.
but Rory also was questioning whether or not the full committee endorsed it, and so I saw the meeting. So what I'm saying is that we're gonna see what the Secretary of State's grant program is, and regardless, we're gonna reconcile. We're gonna make sure if we have to send out 1 letter or 8 letters or whatever it is, we're gonna do it. And if it's for this one program or that program or all the above, all that paperwork will be in order and squared away. I just didn't know, with the prior work that you did before the council, if that was attached to this past year's legislative grant. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, I think it was.
Okay.
And I think, and also, you just said something I wanted to respond to that. Oh, about when I was at a fundraiser for the Secretary of State.
Yep.
And brought this monument to his attention. And also, some other people there, Bogarty, some of the other senators. And they said, oh, wow, this is great. There's some grants that this will apply for. And then they sent me a list of 5 grants that some of them you don't apply for until the fall. So I can give this committee those 5 grants.
Yeah.
If you're gonna use them for something else, they gave them to me to apply for this, but since the committee's gonna decide and they might want for something else, that's fine.
Yeah, and no harm if it's specific to a placemaking grant, which I think is what the Commerce Corps grant was for a start. It was placemaking. It was
Yes,
like, you
right.
have to put something here. That's not what the skirmish is. That's not the speaker series. It's not the town beach parties. And guess what? By default, it would be the monument. So if you feel like it's directly aligned with your program, then give us a draft. Fill it out.
Well, they said they'd help me write.
Okay, so that's fair, and all I'm saying is that we just established that the committee will endorse it, so when you're ready, send it on over, and we'll review it and we'll endorse it. Okay, I'm gonna move on to make good use of the next 25 minutes, because it's my 36th anniversary, and I gotta go at 7.
Happy anniversary. I am leaving at 6:45.
Okay,
I have.
Is there anything you'd like to touch on before you leave? Anything you'd like to?
No, well, go ahead. I mean, I just have a little bit on the outreach, but.
okay. We talked of the planting of the Liberty Tree. Sharon, I know you've done some legwork on that with town manager and Luke Murray. So is there an action item with that?
Yes, you asked me to go with that, I did,
Yep.
and, so they're all for it. We've got the location, everything. However, remember there's that person we've got to contact to make sure there's no cable when he's on vacation.
Mark just returned. Mark
He is.
Russo, the
Yeah, I gotta
facilities
get in
director?
touch with Mark Russo. But on the SOS website, we get to pick a time. They suggested fall because it would be a good time to plant a tree and it would have some room to grow until the spring when you got your thing. Okay. And then to set a date in the fall. And that's what I was gonna ask you all about, a date in the fall. And you said you wanted to make a community event. My vision was, I can see the people saying, it's lunchtime, come out, everybody get a shovel. I wanted the people that work at town hall to be the diggers. The people who, to me, they're the ones who make this whole democracy of local government. But I'm not in charge of that. That was just my thoughts. You guys want to make a community event. The only thing I know is Columbus Day is one of the days that people may have off, which is Indigenous Day. I don't know. So we need a date, 3 dates in the fall, and I have those dates, I believe.
So let's do this. We have that template that Joanne set up for the 300th that we modified for the 250th. If you want to just populate that, and at the next meeting we can endorse it.
Well, they're asking right now, at the SOS, right now, that I've got everything done except the dates. And if somebody else takes it, we don't get it. This is something.
So is this an additional project that you're running with?
Same project.
It's not the same project. You have a memorial at a completely different location and a completely
No,
different
this
time.
is the tree plant.
I understand that. So what I'm saying is at the last meeting, you had proposed, you shared with us your vision for the monument. And you filled out all of the technical details, your needs, all that stuff. Do we have it for the Liberty Tree?
That's what this is. Oh, I didn't make a Oh, and I put on the Mark Russo on the back, I didn't fill out the event
Yeah.
form,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, I mean, because what we want to
Because
do is,
Lauren sent me the link to go ahead.
I've got
and-
the link as well.
Okay, so there, so I went in to look at the 3 dates, and I said, I just need the committee to come up with 3 dates.
So,
You want it in the form of an event, that's gonna push it back to another meeting, and I was hoping we would get that date today.
when you say the fall, you're talking fall 26?
Yes, no, fall 25 is when
Okay.
they have an opening for us.
Okay.
So it'll be planted in the, no, fall 25 is when they'll plant. And so we need a date.
What is the, you're running with it, so you gotta let.
Okay, I tell you what, October 13th is Columbus Day. That'll be date number 1. Secondary date will be October 10th, which, correction on that.
No,
Huh?
Right.
the
Town
town
hall's
won't be
closed.
open. That's a holiday.
So we don't want to make it a community, so, okay, how about October 17th, which is a Friday, as primary?
We have to come up with 3 dates.
Well, it's a good primary.
That's our first choice. 17th.
October 17th, first choice. October 24th, second choice. Does that sound good?
Which is what day?
It's a Friday as well.
That's the next
Friday.
Friday.
And then for a third choice, we could make it middle of the week, October 22nd. And that
17,
covers-
24, 22.
17, 24, and 22.
I would suggest
22.
maybe do a different week, maybe,
Yeah, the 29th.
the 29th,
Yeah, that's the third week, and you're right. That way if somebody's on leave or something
on
like that.
leave or bad weather or something like that.
How are those, Sharon?
I didn't want to be involved in this, I want y'all do it, I'll just give me some dates. To
Awesome.
vote on. Let's go.
So, let me just ask a dumb question. So we vote on this, what happens? A tree just
No,
airdrops?
I turn it into them, and they tell us what date we've been on, and then we can go from them there and plan something for that day.
So it is an event?
It is an event.
Okay, so if you
yeah.
could use that form that we all agreed to use and fill out your form, but for today, we got 3 dates, so I think prospectively, we can give you the dates and we'll take a motion, so it's official.
Yep,
And then at the next meeting, just say, yep, here it is, beep, bop, boop.
great, and then you guys can plan the event, I don't care.
I'm not picking up, I don't, believe me, no, this, if anybody's got any bright ideas, that's great, you gotta carry it all the way forward. That's gotta be the mantra.
That's fine, and my idea was that this was gonna be focused on the staff. Maybe Terry could get off the lunch and come over. Anybody on the staff that can get off the lunch and come over and be part of this, that's what my vision is. That could be totally wrong, but that's what my vision is.
So who actually plants the tree? Is it the
No,
they
they come from the state and do it. This is the.
I-
Okay, well, now, hold on now. We don't have enough information.
Well, it's just a matter of getting the tree, and if we have to, I'm sure town staff can dig a hole, you know, backhoe or something
These
like
are
that,
the
get it dig
details
safe,
we would
and
need.
it's just details.
Well, right,
Right.
but it is an event, and it is
You need
an
it.
expectation that now, okay, and we can coordinate it if Mark, we'll coordinate it, but it's not a town coordinated, this committee is responsible for that event.
Right,
That's right.
I will do that, okay?
And town
If you just
hall
give me
is the primary,
It's the primary location,
the end event.
right, and I'm
You
gonna
know.
try to get them to plant some garden, I'm gonna ask them if they'll do something, put another picnic table, make it a neat place.
So my suggestion is before, I mean, we wanna put the town's 250th, full force effect behind all this, so it requires, some bit of documentation.
I'll do it.
Okay. Sounds good. So we've got placeholders for 3 dates. Do we want to see backup before it goes forward? Because again, I hear trees are coming from Providence. I've never seen a tree make its way down 95 just magically. There's stuff that has to happen to make it work. So I just want to make sure that somebody's got this done. I want to know who's going to water this and care for it. And I want to make sure it's a sustainable thing. And I'm sure it will be. So,
Well, since Luke is, not Luke,
Yeah, Luke Murray, yeah, he's on.
he's all over it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you this, the 3 dates, will you give those to me again?
17,
17, 24, and 29 October.
Now, it's just being, I used to be a state worker, Friday we used to like to bug out and get out. Those are the days of the, no, it
I
doesn't,
mean,
Friday
it-
won't matter,
It
okay.
doesn't, any day, there's gonna be people who aren't there.
Right, I just
But,
wondered. if
but
there were-
Friday would be a nice day too, because it's a day when people are casual, it's a little,
So
Okay.
you can go out there.
yeah,
Okay.
you know.
So I'm just gonna submit those days and then I'll
I'm
bring
gonna
a
make a motion.
report down to the next.
Okay, all right, so, is there, these are 3 dates that you have, and, is the committee, are we endorsing this?
so Sharon makes a motion to approve the date. So moved.
Don't you want the details before you endorse it?
I'd say we make it subject to getting the details at our next meeting, so that you can fill out an online I've seen the online application. It's pretty straightforward.
All right.
This is just punch the date so they can make,
I understand this, and believe me, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of bright ideas, and most of them don't ever make it, right? Because we all run out of time, that's all I'm saying. So if there's a motion for you to select one of these, or to propose these 3 dates for installation at Town Hall, subject to also getting the cheat sheet, the
Event sheet.
the event sheet filled out and presented at the next meeting.
okay, but I can use those 3 dates.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Yeah, who made
was
the
the
motion?
Sharon made the motion.
Did Sharon make the
To
motion?
move forward with
I
it,
thought Mark made it.
Those 3
but,
dates are.
but we'll have to wait for final approval. I don't know if it's
Did we
really a
have-
motion.
Did we have somebody
Is
second?
it? It's like a
Okay, so there was a motion. Is there a second?
second.
There you go.
Okay. Further discussion, Bill is just,
So we're just approving the
Approving
concept
the dates and a concept.
of planting a tree with those dates, and that you will follow up with the.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moved.
okay, any other discussion? All right, we'll re-vote again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good.